Hello, welcome back to another video. This will be discussing when does religious freedom begin and when does religious oppression end. And it is specifically referring to when does it become a right to practice your faith, whether you're spiritual or religious, and where does it end when your faith becomes harmful. Faith is a personal declaration and connection between your God or gods or deities or ancestors, between you and them. Although, like religion has become pretty much for the community, it shouldn't be about compulsion. And when we talk about religious freedom as a human right, we specifically mean individually and without compulsion. Therefore, compelling people to believe your faith or others within your faith, policing them, is wrong. And people are allowed to choose what they want to follow and what they do not want to follow, and what interpretation that they come up with, like what do they view of their faith, because faith is not monolithic, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Judaism, whether it be Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, pagan traditions. Even on the non religious spectrum, there is also diversity. So, the diversity of the school of thought and also one's personal interpretation and incorporation of cultural traditions shouldn't be controlled and restricted by the state, especially when it's driven on the basis of religion. Because religion doesn't become right anymore, it becomes oppression when you have one faith dominating other faiths. Like, you shouldn't base your policies and prohibitions, like, especially in the legal realm, on religion or faith alone, because it is bias. And having religious freedom is the freedom to pray. And when you can negotiate, like, a time and space with your place of employment, that is religious freedom. When you choose to wear particular articles of clothing that express or show your faith, that is religious freedom. When you are able to observe a particular dietary requirement based on your faith, that is religious freedom. When you're able to carry symbols relating to your faith, that is religious freedom. But what religious freedom isn't is compelling other people that is not within your faith or even within your own faith to follow your interpretation as if yours is the law of the land. And Haram Police, Bible Patrol, and all sorts of religious extremists are part of religious oppression. And when you feel like you have to police someone because they're not part of your denomination or sect or your own personal interpretation of the faith, and you not only think that others are wrong, but you want to control them, especially when you get into politics, that is absolutely toxic. And we should be able to prevent those behaviors from affecting other aspects of life. Like, yes, your morality is derived from a particular religious interpretation, but that's for you. If you enforce it into others, that is wrong. It's just like atheist dogmatism is wrong. Like, you have the right to build your religious institution, your religious faith, and the monopoly of religious extremists and dogmatic people are so strong that progressive, actual progressive, and intersectional places of worship like have been put into the shadows, whereas places where oppression stems from is normalized as part of religious freedom. Conversion therapy and harassment of the LGBTIQA or women that fall out of what it deems to be acceptable in their culture, like, that is wrong. That is religious oppression. And religious oppression, like, comes from Muslims, for example, in India, getting falsely accused and killed for eating beef, whether they did it or not. Because remember, the prohibition of consuming beef is rooted in Hinduism. Even if a Hindu person eats beef, just like if a Muslim eats pork, doesn't wear hijab, doesn't follow certain tenets of Islam, they shouldn't be persecuted. And the persecution complex of people is really appalling. And this is a major problem that should be addressed. And we should learn what actually religious freedom is, because we already have religious freedom, and if it is being violated, then we can speak out that we have religious freedom and it's as rights as human beings. But that right doesn't include oppressing or bullying others.